crackers trying to make a bar, I react an elephant. And I never ever let them play on my intelligence.
Yeah, I'm trying to make $1 billion G's to afford not getting buried 6 feet deep. But buried on the top of a grave in the tomb. The truth came out my mother womb. And when them 3 days passed, I'm coming back reincarnated in a black coupe with a mask. That's a difficult task. The resurrection up from niggas to gods to represent the mass. Blast, my soul remember that red summer from 1919. Them people look just like me. But rewind the ropes in the trees. Fast forward the money, the guns, and the keys. Rewind them white Porsches and yeah, the Ku Klux Klan. Fast forward the cops and niggas taking a stand. Try and hang a man. Rewind COINTELPRO. Fast forward.
Yo, cut it. What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Luke's Rhetoric. You know me. Alright? You know who I am. And if you don't know, and if you're a new subscriber to the channel, welcome. DJ, let these guys know who I am.
God. Everybody says, who does he think he is? I just told you who I thought I was. A God. I just told you. That's who I think I am.
In today's congregation, I want to go over, because I know I didn't make a video on it on Monday, but I do want to talk about it. I didn't want to do a video Monday on the anniversary because I knew everyone else was talking about it, so I figured I'll wait till today to drop my video. So today, congregation, we are going to review the anniversary, matter of fact, the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa, Oklahoma race riot, which is also known as the Black Wall Street massacre. So you know me. You know what time it is. And if you don't know what time it is, DJ, cue me up.
Story time with YouTube's favorite Negro. The Gospel, according to Luke, the only book that didn't make your New Testament.
Thank you. DJ, cue is up.
Something terrible happened here. And for decades, people didn't talk about it.
I was an adult before I ever heard about it. It was something that was hidden.
This entire historic community was obliterated.
Bodies dumped in rivers, bodies dumped in mass graves. It was an absolute massacre.
This story isn't one you'll find in most history books. And almost 100 years later, the facts of what exactly happened that day are still unraveling. So we're driving in what's known as Black Wall Street. It's where one of the nation's worst episodes of racial violence took place. In 1921, a neighborhood in Tulsa, Oklahoma called the Greenwood District.
Let's correct that. It's not one of the first episodes. One of the first episodes was back when you snatched that first African from his homeland. That was when the first episode started. We're many years, decades in this motherfucking season. I'm sorry.
Was a bustling community of black-owned businesses. Tulsa locals know that period of Greenwood's history as a kind of golden age.
If you can imagine just like an old-time downtown, things like movie theaters, pharmacies, hair salons, and so forth.
They called it Black Wall Street.
It was a mecca. It was a huge success.
But Black Wall Street was also an anomaly. It thrived at a time when the KKK was incredibly active in Oklahoma, and the nation had just been through the Red Summer of 1919, when white mobs murdered black people in dozens of incidents across.
Y'all heard my man John Harris in the beginning of the intro. My soul remembers 1919. Them people look just like me. God damn it. Shit sent chills down my spine.
The U.S.
There needed to be sort of match or an igniter tossed on these embers. And that trigger event was an incident that involved two teenagers, Dick Rowland, 19-year-old black boy who shined shoes downtown, Sarah Page, 17-year-old white girl who ran an elevator in a downtown building called the Drexel Building. He went to the building, boarded the elevator. Something happened. Sarah Page began to scream. They both ran out of the elevator.
Now, we don't know exactly what happened in this elevator, but a day later, Rowland was arrested and taken to the courthouse. The local newspaper ran an article claiming Rowland had assaulted Page. Even though Page refused to press charges, the article was essentially a call to action for whites.
A large white mob.
Now, listen to what just happened. Now, we all know people lie, right? And I'm not even going to say white, black. We all lie. But we most definitely know during this time, white motherfuckers will lie to get black people killed. Emmett Till. These bitches will lie. How much? Let's just stop real quick. And then she didn't even press charges. Okay? Let's just stop real quick and ask yourself. You must hate a motherfucker so much that during a time like this, you know that if you were to say anything, a black man looked at me, a black man winked at me, a black man walked on the same side of the street with me, you killing them. How the hell are you killing a man for what? And they just didn't kill men, they killed children too. But you know what though? I'm not going to get too much of my opinion on this right now because I can go deeper than that. But I'm going to go ahead and let this finish playing out.
Began to gather on the lawn of the courthouse. Dick Rowland was in jail on the top floor. A number of black men, several dozen, marched down to the courthouse.
Let's go back a little bit.
Some of them armed. There was a struggle between one of the blacks to protect him. Some of them armed. There was a struggle between one of the blacks on the top floor. A number of
The article was essentially a call to action for whites.
A large white mob began to gather on the lawn of the courthouse. Dick Rowland was in jail on the top floor. A number of black men, several dozen, marched down to the courthouse to protect him, some of them armed. There was a struggle between one of the black men in the small group and one of the white men in the larger group, and things sort of went south from that point.
Hundreds of white people descended upon Black Wall Street, armed. Black residents withdrew behind the railroad tracks that marked off the Greenwood District. Some of them were armed and fought back, but they were outnumbered by the white mob, which shot their way through. The white mob murdered, they looted, and they set fire to Black Wall Street.
This was the strategy, if you will, of how to deal with these communities, with these successful black communities. The effects were disastrous.
For 2 days, the Greenwood District burned. Martial
They called
law
it
was
Little
declared,
Africa on
and
fire.
The National Guard was
Ain't
brought.
that a bitch? Little Africa on fire. These motherfuckers kidnapped us, withheld our history from us. Oh, but they know who we are. That's why they hate us so much. They know who we are. Now ask yourself, we wasn't printing no papers back then. Little Africa, though. They named it Little Africa Burns. Let's not forget they dropped bombs, too. They also had aircrafts. Some of them dropped bombs on Tulsa, which I don't know how the hell they got aircrafts. Government. Let's finish. Let's continue.
By the time the massacre ended, Greenwood was in ruins. More than
Pathetic.
1,200 homes were destroyed, and 35 blocks burned. The exact number of casualties is harder to pin down. Some initially only reported that white people died. Others reported somewhere between 30 and 100 mostly black casualties. But estimates now put that number closer to 300. As for those that survived, thousands of them lived in tent cities in the months that followed, and were left to pick up the pieces of rubble they once called home. After the massacre, the cover-up started. Records went missing from city files, including the very article that started it all. It makes photos from this time all the more important as part of the historical record, but back in 1921, these images served a very different purpose.
So photo postcards like these were pretty widely distributed after the massacre. At the time, they were a part of white supremacist culture and kept as souvenirs of racially charged crimes.
Now they're preserved to make sure this part of Tulsa's history isn't forgotten, and they paint a clear picture of how much destruction there was that day. On the postcards, it's called the Tulsa Race Riot, a name that itself sort of erases what really happened.
I don't know if you guys understand what she just said, but if to all my subscribers who's watching, let me refresh your memory and help you understand what she just said. These guys tried to hide what they did. You know how serial killers, when they when they make a kill, they usually keep trophies. Psychopaths, you know, they keep trophies. These guys kept trophies, and the trophies were postcards that only white folks would send back and forth to their loved ones. And on the postcard were portraits of the destruction of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Let that sink in.
Riot. It's a way of trying to rewrite the history, assuming that there were both sides at fault, and that was not the case. I call it a massacre, and I call it that
got that
because
brown
that's what
suede
it was.
jumpsuit on.
Greenwood eventually rebuilt, but nearly a century later, there's a part of this story that still haunts the city. No one actually knows where the victims' bodies are.
We got to find our people. We got to put them at rest. You know, if not, we continue to be haunted by what was done so many years ago.
Cabin Ross, a local writer, is one of many in Tulsa descended from people who lost everything in the massacre.
So in this cemetery, there are only 2 official victims of the Tulsa Race Massacre. How many victims do you think?
You guys, I'm just watching this video like you are.
After all these years, I think 300 is putting it mild.
In 1997, the city finally put together a commission to study the massacre and help piece together what happened in 1921. They compiled records and eyewitness accounts.
Bullets were just raining down over us.
They set our house on fire and went right straight to the curtains and set the curtains on fire.
These accounts are especially important now because none of these survivors are alive anymore.
Hey, she look
and
good.
They also provided new
Still got a
information.
healthy full of hair, man.
Some mentioned trucks like this one loaded with victims of the riot. One riot witness in particular came forth testifying that he saw bodies being dumped in Oaklawn Cemetery.
Stop it, bro.
This is it.
Stop it. You was a part of it too.
Wait, before you scroll away, you need to hear
Alright, I'm about to go ahead and cut it because they're going to go ahead and put I don't want to hear shit about no political shit. Sorry, you guys. Look, I don't want to hear nothing about no political. How you going to stop something like that for a political thing? My bad, you guys. Look, man, I want to thank you guys for watching. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the rest of this video if you're interested in our history lesson because it needs to be said. I didn't learn about Tulsa, Oklahoma until I was 21. I'm in my 30s now. Like I said, in my household, we didn't talk much about black history. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to leave a link to this video in the description box, most definitely. And if you guys been watching this video, I know it's a little long. I usually do short videos, about a good 15 minutes long. I apologize about that, but I feel that this stuff needs to be out. If you're watching this video, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll know every time I drop a video. Also, make sure you guys follow me on Instagram, all right? My social media at the official Luke's Topics. And if you guys are feeling generous and would like to donate to my pack of oodles and noodles, please make sure you guys donate $1 to my Cash App so I can get my chicken noodles. Please Cash App is $Luke J. Walker. I will leave all of this information also in the description box. So again, make sure you guys subscribe and make sure you hit that like button, man. Like. Also comment, because I want to hear back from you guys. Comment on my video. What would you guys like to know about? Let me know, man. I'm a presentable person, you guys. Alright? Come fuck with me. And without further ado, because it's so late, I know you want to see Varnell, but I'm not going to bring Varnell out. Let me go ahead and give some shout out to Strap 45. Strap 45, make sure you guys go follow him, a DC artist. Also, he's on the intro of my show. That's him rapping. So if you want to get Strap 45 to come out and do a show, whatever, make sure you go follow him on his Instagram page where he have all his information in order to get in contact with the man. Also, make sure you guys go follow Mellow World on Instagram, another artist straight out of the Los Angeles, California area. He's from Cleveland, Ohio. Make sure you guys go support. Also, make sure you guys go support Remember All Created Equal, black owned company. They're doing big things out here in the streets. All right, make sure you guys go get their apparel, because they're more than just clothing. Go follow them on Instagram. They're on all social media platforms. And before I go, you know me. All right, you know who I am. DJ, I've been doing too much talking. Take us home.
Boys are working, yeah, from the mud I do you dirty, yeah, I got the rags on me, 45 strapped on me, real ones that glass for me, your time is past rolling, y'all better pay me now, Billboard can't take me down, Grandma said make me proud, so the top I done lately found, I come from a cold